What if your happiest memories became the only place you could truly live? Imagine waking up every morning, and instead of facing the present, your mind drags you back to a time that no longer exists. A time when the world felt brighter, laughter came easier, and love was waiting for you in the simplest details. For one grieving soul, this isn't imagination, it's reality. After losing the person they loved most, they found themselves trapped in a world of memories. Days slip away unnoticed, not in the present, but wandering through the past, clinging to fragments of joy that feel more alive than anything around them now. But this story isn't just about loss, it's about how fragile memories can be. And why the thought of moving on feels like the ultimate betrayal. For most of us, memories are just flashes, moments we dip into when we're feeling nostalgic. But for this person, memory became something else entirely. It turned into a world, a library, filled with shelves of moments stacked one after another. Every day they walk those endless aisles. They pick up one memory at random and let it swallow them whole. Maybe it's a laugh shared on the couch, a Sunday morning coffee, or a quiet sunset on the porch. Whatever it is, it pulls them in so deeply that hours, sometimes days, slip away. Meanwhile, the real world keeps moving. Seasons change, calendars flip, and life outside presses forward. But inside, they're living in fragments of a past that refuses to let go. And just when they think they've reached the end of what memory can show them, something unexpected in the present pulls them back again. It happened on an ordinary afternoon. They were outside in the yard when their eyes caught something small, something most people would overlook. A 4-leaf clover. Before the loss, it wouldn't have meant much. Just a bit of luck, hiding in the grass. But to their husband, it was different. He had loved clovers. Each time he found one, he'd carefully press it flat with a strip of Scotch tape, saving it like treasure. At the time, it felt like a silly little habit. Sweet, but nothing life-changing. Now, that memory means everything. That single clover dragged them back to a world where love lived in the smallest gestures, the way he'd leave those taped clovers around the house, almost like secret reminders of joy. One glance at that clover in the yard, and the rest of the day disappeared. They spent hours reliving those moments, replaying the sound of his laughter, the sight of those fragile green leaves taped carefully to the counter. It's strange how grief works. The things that once felt ordinary, tiny, forgettable details become the very things you'd give anything to hold on to again. Back then, the world was alive. Food had flavor that lingered, music carried emotion straight to the heart, books pulled them into new universes with ease. Colors seemed deeper, sunsets burned brighter, clouds looked softer. Even the sound of crickets on summer nights felt like a private symphony. But grief has a cruel way of dulling everything it touches. The same meals now taste like cardboard. The same shows that once made them laugh feel empty, jokes falling flat. Even coffee, the drink their husband loved, the ritual that used to start their mornings, has turned bitter. Same beans, same machine, same water. Yet it tastes like paint thinner now. It's as if losing him drained the color out of the world. What was once vibrant is now muted, and no matter how hard they try, nothing feels the same. And deep down, they know why. Because the joy wasn't really in the food or the sunsets or the coffee. The joy was in sharing it with him. Everyone around them says the same thing. Remember the good times, but move on. But how do you move on without erasing the person you loved most? That's the cruel paradox of grief. The more you try to remember, the harder those memories are to hold on to. They slip away just like a dream that fades the moment you wake up. You cling tighter, but the details, his voice, his scent, the exact shade of his smile, start to blur. And yet moving forward feels like betrayal. Because to step too far into tomorrow means leaving him further behind. That's the fear that keeps them trapped, the terror that he will only exist as long as memory allows, and that one day, even memory will fail. It's not just sadness, it's panic, a race against time itself, trying to keep someone alive in the fragile space between heart and mind. Sometimes they wish for something impossible, a time machine, not to undo the loss, not to change the past, but just to step back into a moment that once felt perfect, to hold a hand, hear a laugh, see a clover taped to the counter, and feel the warmth that vanished with him. It's a desperate, almost childish hope, a fantasy that, for a fleeting moment, makes the impossible seem real. Yet it's also a powerful truth. Memory itself is a kind of time machine. Each thought, each recollection can transport you back, if only for a few seconds. But the cruelest part? The moments you can't revisit. The ones that slipped away unrecorded, unphotographed, unremembered. Those are the ones that sting the most, leaving you stranded between what was, what is, and what can never be again. And in that space, you start to wonder, maybe the real miracle isn't going back in time. Maybe it's learning to carry the past forward, even when it hurts. Grief doesn't end. It doesn't vanish quietly or on a schedule. Instead, it lingers in the small details, a clover taped to the counter, the scent of coffee, a laugh remembered too vividly. It lives in the spaces, between moments, in the memories we hold close, and in the fear of forgetting. And yet, there is something quietly powerful in carrying it forward, in letting the love, the joy, the small rituals live on inside you. It's not about moving on, it's about moving with, about finding a way to exist in the present without leaving the past behind entirely. So, if you've ever felt lost in memory, trapped in longing for someone you've loved and lost, know this: you're not failing. You're human. And sometimes living in memories isn't a weakness. It's proof of how deeply you loved. After all, would you really trade the moments that made you feel most alive for a world without them?